Hi, Megan.
Hello.
Not doing so bad for ourselves here, are we? This is pretty cool. By Lake Pikaki, eh? Look at you.
Look at you. Hey.
You look great.
You look great. I've got to give you a hug.
Look at your your toenails. How can I give a hug? I'm so knocked out by the look. Good look.
It's so good to see you.
You're not your average reporter, girl. Not your average reporter here. Do I feel like it's a spiritual place? I think that's a perfect question, and it's actually kind of beyond spiritual. I think.
Yeah.
I think if you come here and you don't feel the energy of the hillsides, the mountains, the turquoise water, the glaciers, the air, the pine tree, if you can't feel that, then you already dead.
It's true, isn't it?
It's true.
It's spectacular. Do you know, when I finished the book, I just couldn't wait to talk to you, because so often I'll read something and I'll go, oh my God,
I'm so
I wish I
glad we're
could
not
talk.
on email trying to discuss it.
I know, I've done that to you before.
Texting that you're trying
That's so true.
When you see the color purple, how are we going to talk about it?
I know,
You're in the lobby. Yes.
That was so good. But so this book is a real journey of a spiritual notion. It's traveling through space and time to realize that the really true thing is love. Like,
Sorry.
How's that thing? What is that?
It's a...
I know what it is, but I'm just trying to see what is he doing. What is he doing?
okay, I can word that better anyway. So that's
No, that was good. You're gonna have the. Does he know we're shooting over here?
Yeah, they told him, but I don't know if he's in a hurry.
Look how trim you are.
Still
So
working on
good.
it. It's been hard on this
I'm the
thing.
heaviest I've ever been right now.
Well-
it's what's called going on a holiday and drinking and eating every day. It's like,
I thought you guys just came from the. I thought you guys just came from the no eating camp.
yeah, I know, but
Get right there,
that was
Paul.
at my
That's our best
birthday.
angle right there. Come on.
It was at my birthday. I did that with the kids for my birthday. It was so fun. I just turned 50.
I know.
50.
Didn't Paul have something somewhere?
I did a birthday festival. I had lots of little
You are the
celebrations.
best looking 57 I have
He is
ever
good, isn't
seen. You are. Don't tell anybody 57 because nobody would ever think that.
Yeah.
You know what I did?
What?
Sold my business. So that all settled on the 1st of December. So we're sort
That's
of
been his big thing.
we're all care and no responsibility. How's that?
How's that?
He's still working, but it's just different. It's
How does it
great.
feel?
It was like an anticlimax. Actually.
Do you feel? I'm squinting in the sun. Do you feel released from it, or do you
Yes.
feel like?
Yeah, he does,
Okay.
actually.
Okay, it stopped.
Okay.
Okay, good.
all the day-to-day stuff.
Really, somebody else is doing it.
Yeah, it's not.
He's still working in there, but
Okay,
it's,
good.
yeah, it's great.
Okay, here we are. How's it?
So where do you want me to start from? From the
Start with a journey.
So what I found when I read this book, I was so excited because it's like a real spiritual journey. Like the kids travel through space and time.
Yeah.
Only to discover, well, not only to discover, but to realize that the one true thing is love. The universal undercurrent is love.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Thank you for reading the book because
I loved reading the book.
I had never read the book before actually filming the movie. A lot of people grew up with that book and feel real connection to it because I've mentioned it to people and they're like, "Oh my God, I love that book."
Yeah.
I had no connection to the book, so this is how it happened for me. Ava DuVernay is a friend of mine. We started being friends during Selma, and when she said she was going to come to New Zealand, she posted some pictures, actually sent me some pictures that she was on a scout here in New Zealand for. So when I was here in Ausland last year, into December 2015, I wanted to get to the South Island, but I didn't. I only got to Auckland.
Oh, you didn't go?
I didn't come to the
I
South
wondered
Island.
that.
I wanted to come here, and I didn't. It was one of those, ran out of time, and
yeah.
now. And so when Ava said she was coming here, I said, oh, I always wanted to go there. So I'm going to take off and, I'm going to pretend I'm Paul. And I'm gonna, your husband, Paul. I'm going to just go along. I'm going to travel along. I'm going to be there. And she said, oh, well, are you serious? If you're serious about that, would you read for one of the characters? And I said, sure, I'll read. And I read it, and I thought, okay. I'll play a wise woman supernova
Yeah,
from the stars.
Exactly.
You
yeah.
want to sign me up for that? I'll do that. And so that's how that happened. It happened because of, first of all, my love for New Zealand
Yeah.
and this part of the world. And I thought, if I get to experience that again, okay, whatever the role is, I can make that work.
Yeah.
It just turned out that it ends up, I think, being one of the roles of a lifetime for me.
Really?
Yes, certainly. I think the iconic role of Sophia and the Color Purple will last forever
Yeah.
for me. But I also believe that this character that I have been actually, aligned and blessed to play of Mrs. Witch will last forever.
Yeah.
This for me is the new Oz. This is
Yes, because you're almost like Glinda, don't you think? Yes, you are, because you're the one who facilitates that message to her, to
yes,
Meg.
yes,
Yes, exactly.
And so that's exactly.
There's no place like home. It's like it was in you all along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there was a moment that we just did in a really beautiful field of golden grass out here the other day, where each of the Mrs. I'm Mrs. Witch, Reese is Mrs. Whatsit, Mindy's Mrs. Who. Each of the Mrs. bestow gifts to the kids. And it felt like that moment at the end of Oz where she,
I agree.
where she gives each one. So I believe that this is the new Oz for the next generations to come. And that this character that talks about love and faith and aligning with the frequency of who you are and speaking your truth and all the things. There's actually, you know me so well, so there's a moment in this film after the father where she connects with the father, Mrs. Witch connects with the father, and she says, Mr. Murray, you realize your intentions create your actions.
We love that.
We love that.
It's so true.
I mean, I could have spoken that myself. So I just feel like, well, is it me? Is it Mrs.
But don't you
Witch?
think in the book how it's written, like if you hadn't have told me who you were prior, when I was reading it, even the way it's written with like 10 letters for each thing, like it's like you saying, we're going to Australia, like that. So
absolutely.
when I read it, I knew like straight away it was your role.
I feel like, first of all, I feel really blessed that Ava thought to ask me to do it, but I also think, I don't know who else could do this with it. I think I am Mrs. Witch.
Are you having fun with it?
The most fun, and the costumes, have they shown you the costumes?
No, I'm dying to see.
Oh my God, the costumes are,
Can we see them?
Yeah, every day the costumes are extraordinary. So first of all, we have a different costume for every planet.
Yeah.
None of them are comfortable. I can't sit in them. I have to so I'm there this way all day long when I'm wearing a costume. So I'm glad not to be in it today. But Paco has done what's Paco's last name? Paco has done such an extraordinary job of creating these magnificent objects of art that we actually get to wear. So the moment you start, first of all, it starts in the morning with the makeup process for me. So by the time I sit, 2.5 hours in the makeup chair.
Is it 2.5 hours?
Yeah, it's good. Wow. 2.5 hours for me. And the other girls don't take as long, but Mrs. Witch gets all of her stuff from...
Do you chat while you're getting it done, or do you like to be quiet?
We have the most... First of all, Reese is the DJ. She's at the other end of the trailer, and so she's in charge of music. And there's all kinds of chatter I cannot discuss going on. Who's cute and who's not on set, that kind of thing. And, so it's great camaraderie with all of us, but the actual being able to say the words on film that I think will last forever and will be here around.
It's timeless, isn't it?
It really is.
And it was written in the 60s, but it's so relevant now.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, it's relevant now, and it will be relevant 20 years from now, and it'll be relevant 50 years from now, in the same way that Oz is.
Correct.
But it will speak to a different generation.
Yeah.
Like when I try to show girls at my school Oz, it feels old to them. It doesn't feel relatable to the times. But I think this is an epic...
It is.
Fantasy, space, sci-fi, spiritual adventure.
I love that other part. I love the part where Mrs. Watson talks about the spiritual leaders of our time, like, oh, well, not of our time, over the years, like Gandhi and Einstein and Madame Curie and like all these different people. You're one of those, you know that.
I thank you for that. But
You are one
we
of
actually have modernized the script so that at one point Mrs. Who is talking about...
Yes, yeah,
she's
because I
talking-
have to bring it out.
Yeah,
for now.
she's talking not just about Shakespeare, but she also is talking about outcasts. So she uses quotes from, you know, contemporary artists and stuff to sort of bring it into this time. It has actually been an experience of a lifetime for me. First of all, anybody who gets to experience New Zealand
Oh my God, it's
is
so beautiful.
already blessed.
Yeah, true. It's very
we had
true.
this ceremonial ritual when we arrived, welcomed by the people, and what's it called? A pofri. We had a pofri where they talked about how once you come here and you're a part of the land, you're always a part of the land.
That's
What
nice.
I feel for our film is that the energy of these beautiful turquoise waters. I
Yeah.
mean, it really is amazing how the
It's
water comes off the
beautiful, isn't
glacier,
it? Yeah, yeah.
and it's really turquoise.
Yeah.
I feel like the energy of the lake, the energy of the mountain, the energy of the sky, the energy of the trees,
Yeah.
all of that gets to go and is infused
Yeah.
into this movie. And then we get to put this movie out into the world with the energy of New Zealand in
Yeah.
it. And it can't help but bless the world.
Yeah, and it's. I was talking to Catherine, the
Yeah, producer.
and it was so interesting talking to her because she was friends with Madeleine Long.
Yes.
How do I say her last name? Longal.
Langle. I call her
Langle. Yeah, I'm terrible with French, but she was telling me how she'd known her for years and how they'd wanted to do a movie for many years, but it never sort of worked out. And now it's all come together, like, hasn't it?
Well, it's come together in a way that I don't know if even Madeline could have imagined, because when you read the book,
Yeah.
Megan, the Mrs.'s all appear to be in the book. When I read it, I thought they all are like Mrs. Doubtfire. They're all these little dowdy English ladies,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you think?
yeah.
So Ava's vision was to break that wide open, was
Yeah.
to crack that open
Yeah.
with a sense of diverse inclusionism that has, you know, Mindy Kaling as, you know, one of the misses, and myself as one of the misses, and Reese as one of the misses, and Storm Reed, and Levi from Brisbane, and all of us, and cannot leave out Charles Wallace, Derek.
Oh, I can't wait to see him.
Yeah. He's a pistol, I must say. And you know, the diversity and the inclusionism is so profound on the screen that it's undeniable, and I think it speaks to people of the world in a very different way, because you can see yourself up there on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you picked up, because I reckon you will have picked up some New Zealand voices, because you do that, don't you? Like when you're around a people,
I was
you
picking
sort of
up
do that.
Chris's the other day. Chris said, "Oh, I want you to know that everyone's coming, and your love for New Zealand."
Can you hear the difference between Australia and New Zealand?
Yes, I can. There's a little bit. First of all, it's a little twangier here. What is the real difference, though?
The E's and the E's, like if they say fish and chips, they'd go fish and chips with an E.
More
The vowel
English.
sounds are swapped. The E's and the I's are swapped.
Oh, really?
And the A and something is swapped as well, but mainly the E and the I. So
But
if
you all
they're
get
saying
along.
six and sex.
Six and six.
Yeah.
I'll listen for that.
So
We got a lot of Aussies
swaps
working on
Yeah,
here.
swaps
We got a
around.
lot of Aussies here because a lot of people, you know, came from Australia over here to work.
Yeah.
So it's great.
And you're a blonde in this, right?
Well, I don't call it blonde. I mean, I think this is what
Platinum.
she is.
What's
She's
she?
platinum blonde. It's gold. I mean, Kimball, who is famous for creating all of these amazing locks for Beyonce's videos. When she came to me, actually, I think I was one of the first misses to choose hair color. So we started out with this idea of purples and oranges and greens and I thought, well, that I don't know.
Yeah. Did you try them? Did you try purple and green?
Tried
Yeah.
them. Kim came to meet me in LA, and we had a room full
How
of wigs.
fun. Was it fun?
It was
wasn't it fun?
interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting. And I'm not so good as a redhead, so we decided that you wanted something that was going to actually complement the skin. So as a pure blonde, it wouldn't work for me. But if you mix blonde and platinum and silver and gold, now you got yourself
nice.
something. So, and also she has to convey, not that she's, you know, walking around trying to be Beyonce, but she has to convey a sense of
Power
and wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom.
Yeah, you're right.
Wisdom. You know, Beyonce is the most powerful queen bee. Hello. So I was excited about creating all of these different looks for her, and having the team to back me up to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the ones who are doing it. We have an incredible team of artists, creators. I mean, and Derek, who's been doing my makeup for years, gets to actually...
That must be fun for him.
Like playing in a crayon box every day.
Is it colourful? Is it all different colours
you'll
and
see,
things?
You'll see. So I say to Derek the other day, I can see you've got your arts and craft project going on. So it's wonderful. It's been...
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about this film is I know it will last forever. I can feel inside myself that there will be many days where I will be someplace and people will come up and say,
How
you know,
cool, I can feel that
I
when
love,
you say that.
I love you as
that.
Mrs. Witch,
Yeah.
and I will have to explain to them, well, you know, I used to have a talk show.
That's
I also,
so funny.
especially kids.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the very first time we all put on our costumes, we all said, I want a doll. What's the doll going to look like? So we were in the trailer this morning talking about, we will have the first original doll set for all of our characters. I think that the costumes and wigs will be sold separately, but anyway, we're going to make some really nice dolls.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you ever feel, like, just in your own life, like, sometimes I think, you know, yesterday I was 30 and I've just turned 50, so 20 years, and then I think 20 years from now I'll be 70 and all that. Do you get a shock sometimes when you think about that? Like,
yeah, I was thinking about that actually today, because today is Jonathan Demme's birthday. Now, many of you may not know Jonathan Demme, famous American director. I think he was most famous for Silence of the Lambs. And he directed me in a movie called Beloved.
oh,
And he just turned 74. And I remembered that I was 44
yeah.
when we did that movie. Ava's 44 now.
Yes, see, that's the thing I'm talking about. So don't you get a shock?
Yes,
I get a
and
shock.
you just get a shock, like, whoa.
Yeah, got to fit a lot in. Like, we've got to fit a lot in.
It's been 20 years, but I also feel this. I feel like, whoa, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That feels like a lifetime. Don't you feel that way about your...
Sometimes and sometimes not. Sometimes it feels like this, and sometimes I think, gee, I've done a lot.
Well, with kids...
They're a real measure of, like...
you get to measure all the time.
Yeah.
So I think, wow, okay. So that's why it's so wonderful for me to observe Ava in the fullness of 44, what that looks like.
Yeah.
Because it was just like
That's
that
so
yesterday
cool.
for me.
And do you feel like your consciousness has developed, like from when you were 44 to now? Do you feel like that's constantly developing?
I think you're constantly growing. I mean, I can't even remember what I thought. I mean, remember at 44 you thought you knew a lot.
Yeah.
Well, wait till you get to 63.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. It just, for me, it just keeps getting better because I love it all.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that looks back with any kind of regret.
Me neither.
Because you're living a pretty damn good life, I must say. I'm one of those people who looks back and says, wow, that was a great time.
Yeah.
And now, if you were to ask me, what is a great time? This is the greatest
This is
time.
a great time. Thank you so much. Thank you again.
I'm so happy you could come and see me here and that I could introduce you
to
this
New Zealand.
part of your world.
Yeah, I hope you're coming back to Australia.
Well, I was saying to the crew, I mean, not just because you were here, that we all feel that. People are saying, oh, people are so nice in New Zealand. I go, you should go to Oz. They're also very nice in Oz. The people are really good in Oz. Really. Loved it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Really.
I love you.
Thanks for coming all this way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.